formerly Educators with Oil. How are you today? I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I so much appreciate this. Again, we will be going live twice a month on the first and the last Friday of the month. I would say the first and the fourth, but maybe there's a fifth. I'm not sure. So the first and the fourth, so they will be like 2 weeks together. The last Tuesday and then the first Tuesday, so they'll come together. And the rest will be recorded. So I just want to thank you for tuning in. This is an honor that you decided to tune in and listen to me and take me in. Today I want to talk about um, believing in yourself, teachers. Have you ever felt like the teacher next door is doing the most? When I say the most, or they are doing so much better than you. You know, people are boasting about themselves, bragging about themselves, acting like they have it all together. I remember going to PD, not PDs, sort of like PDs, but they were like the beginning of the year workshops that we come together at the beginning of the year to discuss, all the business of the year, get everything from your principal and any assignments, any things that you need to get out of the way. And then you will have time to share, and you will have teachers always coming in there talking about their strategies and what they've done. And then you're sitting there like, wow, they have it all together. They're doing so much. I can't do that. We're just that's a lot. They're coming up with so much information, giving you things. Every time you pass them, they're in the hallway, they're giving you some information of something that they're doing in their class. And you're like, man, I could barely make it through the lesson. And then I'm going to add some more stuff to these lessons. I don't know. I can't do that. So sometimes we feel like we're not capable. We feel like we're not capable. I know that I felt like that at times. My issue when I felt like that, it was sort of like it was it was actually not that I couldn't perform, because you give me something to do, I could do it. I am that. Uh, I'm one of those people always talk about what I do, right? So hey, there was a time when I wasn't that, but I don't mean to make anybody feel inferior. I do it so that I can help somebody. That probably was the goal of the other people who've done it. They want to help somebody, not to brag on themselves, but to help somebody. This is working for me. You should try this. I like this or that, or whatever. So, when I felt like I wasn't enough, or I couldn't do it, I couldn't make it work, it was times when I felt I didn't have everything that I needed to perform, to execute. I needed to execute lessons and plans, but I felt like I didn't have what I needed. I remember going into school, the first year I taught second grade. I have been a preschool teacher for over 10 years. I was a computer teacher. I was a sub, a tutor. I've been doing it. I was a long term sub, short term sub, daily sub in classrooms, and nothing was a problem till I got to second grade. And when I got to second grade, this is what happened. When I first got in, before we started, there was a new math curriculum. I was hyped, boy. I was hyped. They gave us a 3-day training. We dug in. We got in that training. We were learning that curriculum backwards and forwards. That we were doing tests. The instructor, the trainer was actually giving us lessons, showing us how to do step by step and what this meant, what that meant, how to do whatever it was we needed to do. We had it together. So I'm waiting for the literacy, never came. Waiting for the science, social studies, never came. Math, it was funny because the math was new that year, so I didn't understand. It was new, so they trained us. It had been old, the next year teacher probably didn't get that training. They may have gotten some, but they didn't get what I got. I know they did it. And so then we get in the classroom. I'm not going to talk about my classroom. That's a whole other story. But get in the classroom, I had everything I needed for math. The manipulatives, the books, the teacher's manual. Everything was there. I had that down pat. Literacy, there was a literacy book, a textbook for the students and teachers manuals like for the units. The program called for like workbooks and things that they weren't breaking. They weren't giving us science. There was no science. I think they had some online stuff that we were supposed to click and click. Social studies, the same thing. You go to social studies, you're supposed to click. There was nothing there. Like you couldn't get past a certain point and get anything. So it was like you had to create your own curriculums. When they had people up there, I say up there, it's nowhere. Up there on the third floor who are getting paid big money to create these curriculums, put these curriculums together to find curriculums that work for us. And it was non-existent. A friend of mine said, "Yeah, Ronette, you do have a social studies curriculum." I do not. She said, "Yes, you do have a social studies curriculum, but it was not up to your standard, but it's there." So is there some stuff online you have to go to? You have to piece things together they're talking about. So you got to create your own program, which I just wasn't. I just wasn't ready for that. Sorry about that. I just don't feel like. Sorry, I know that's rude, right? I just don't feel like I'm the one to create a program. I have teach. I have time for that. Just show me the program. Let me get to it. I'll pull what I need, and then I'll execute. Right. So I will be. I was frustrated going through this, trying to figure this out. This is what happened. I'm thinking of something different, but what happened was it wasn't even that. It was the fact that every year I got students in second grade who were reading at preschool or kindergarten level. The majority of my students. There were some in first grade levels. There were some ready for second grade. There were every now and then there was some who read on second grade level who read higher, right? But I'm like, how do I teach them? I can't even teach second grade because these kids can't read. I can't teach second grade because they don't know how to add, right? They couldn't just do that 10 frame. No, 4 plus 6 is 10, 6 plus 4 is 10. 8 plus 2 is 10, 2 plus 8 is 10. They didn't understand that. They're counting on their fingers every single time they're starting from 1. It wasn't. I don't know how. It just wasn't. So it was so frustrating. And then I felt like, this is horrible. I asked for help, couldn't get help. I asked our literacy leader for help. She was like, go my follow go into somebody else's classroom and see what they did. That's what I did with Shanae. I went to her class and before that, she is going to tell me now. This is the books that I had. She's going to tell me you're not supposed to use that reading program. We're not even using that. You're supposed to be doing readers and writers workshop. What? Now it's probably December, November, December. It wasn't early in the school year. What? You mean tell me you're the literacy leader? You never told me that. Like I'm sitting here with these books, and we're not supposed to be using this program, right? That's why we don't have everything. Because if you were using a program, you would have all the material. So it was readers and writers workshop, and so I had to go online and print. Like, where do I get this? I got and print. So then I asked Shanae. I went to her class, and she was just doing it. Like, how it's supposed to be done. So I asked her how she do it, and she said I just followed the directions. What are you talking about? So I did that, and I was like, all right, I got this, I got this, I got this. So it was that self confidence came from me having everything that I needed, understanding. But when I didn't have what I needed, I was frustrated. I was feeling like, oh my goodness, how am I going to do this? So you have to not also don't compare yourself to the people next door, across the hall, upstairs, downstairs, the next wing. Don't compare yourself to these people who you think are great teachers. You don't even know that for a fact. You don't know that for a fact. Only way you can know that, and this is how I can see, is if the students who come, you say you're elementary or grade level teacher. This is the easiest way to figure it out. Grade level teacher, consistently you get students from this particular class, they have excelled, they are ready for second or the grade that you're on. I say second grade. They're ready for second grade. They're ready to move on, without a doubt. You're going to have some outliers. You're going to have some people who are struggling because they have issues or because they may have missed apart. Maybe they missed the basic concepts in kindergarten, first grade, or wherever, second grade, whatever grade you're in. So if you want to go by that, but that still is not an indicator of your skill, your mastery. You cannot worry about what somebody else did. You have to go in there and teach what you're supposed to teach. Find find examples of what you should be doing. Do some research. Find that curriculum. Study that curriculum. Find what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you make it flow. Every time I go on, I can find videos of lessons. Sometimes the program itself would direct you to those videos. Find those videos, study, take some time. I know people don't want to take work home and all that. You have to take it home sometime. If you want to be an excellent teacher, you have to study. You have to study. Not to mention study, you have to work on you. So this is how I'm better now, for real, for real. How I am executing right now in my classes because I'm working on me. I don't even care about the curriculum. I don't care because I'm going to do that. But I'm working on me and I'm becoming better. There are things that I'm challenged with. There's things that I'm tried with. Things that if I talk to you about it, I promise you, up until now, I'm going to say up until now because the devil don't got that. Up until now, I'm tried on that thing. I was talking about relationships with students, and then I was tried like head on about that, and it's something I had to work with. That's why I bought on last week. I bought on Beverly Smith because she works with me and we working on that. Like, what do? I need to get this thing under control because this is out of control. And so don't compare yourself. You know your curriculums are research based. Go with that. I know, like I hate our literacy curriculum right now. It doesn't have what we had last time, and last time it was awesome. This time it's like lacking, in my opinion. It's really Readers and Writers Workshop, and Readers and Writers Workshop doesn't really come with books for the students. And I believe students need great level readers. So we could come together as a group, read together, work on a project with those, work on activities with that level, with those readers, and then help move the students along. That's what works for me. I know that. And so this doesn't work for me, but if you know it's a research program, you are going to excel in who you are. Find out who you are. You know, we talked about that self awareness. Why are you doing this? Bring out the best in you. How? You know, get that joy from knowing who you are right there in that inner you. You know, uh, I was about to. You know, we have to think on things that are good and positive, and don't worry about uh, thinking about negative things. When I say negative things, to me, negative things are things that are not taking you in the direction that you want to go. I want to go to the right. Negative is something pulling me that way, to the left. You know, when your car's out of line and it's pulling to the left, it's pulling to the left. You have to hold on to the steering wheel tight. It's pulling to the left, or when you put on brakes and it's pulling to the one side, that's negative because you're trying to go straight, and then something is pulling you to the side. So things like that. Just say I'm trying to get my students to know how to read, and then I have students who want to keep talking about Popeye or uh, whatever the latest Roblox or whatever. That's a negative. That doesn't mean I can never talk about Roblox or Popeye. But at this moment, when we're learning how to read, this is what we're doing. Negative is when I'm working on phonics, and a student just gets up because they feel like they got to put a book away. What? You act like we're not working. You know, that's negative to me. That doesn't mean they can never get up and put a book away. That means right now they cannot. So you have to work on that. And so you have to believe in yourself. Work on your strengths. You know, work on your strengths. You find whatever strength you have, work on that strength. You say, I'm good at math. I might not be good at social studies. I'm good at science, may not be good at social studies. So you get with another teacher, collaborate, ask them what are they doing, how are we gonna put this together, how are we gonna make this work, uh, and then they will teach you some things, teach you what they're doing, and then maybe you can help them with math or science because that's something you love to do. Work on your strengths, but um, also don't be afraid to share and ask questions because the more you do, the more you're gonna learn, the more you're gonna know. You're gonna be built up. You're gonna be believing yourself. You know, uh, look at the evidence that you're awesome. You have to be awesome. You're you. Nobody else can be you. Don't try to be somebody else. Maybe that's where the problem lies. That you're trying to be somebody else. Trying to be just like somebody else. I saw this teacher teaching like this, or they said this is how we have to speak to the students. This is what we have to say. No, every program that we have, when they give us a script, they say this is a loose script. This is just a guide. You put it in your own words. You say it your best. That's what the reading program we have now, it tells the science program that we have now, literacy too. It tells you to do some background and research first. To make sure this is what you're going to be talking about. This is how it's supposed to flow, and understand the subject matter, so that once you're going to be the pro. The students don't know that you're not a pro. All you do is study it first. Study it first. The more you teach, the more you're going to learn. So next year you get it, you have it. The next year after that, you are an expert. Steer clear of, negative people who are coming to talk about what we can't do. I was talking to a few ladies. I talked to a lady in particular, and we were talking about, she was talking about what the district doesn't have and what they're not giving us, and how they're, the things that they're telling us to do, and they're not giving us all the material we need, right? I said, okay, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. It's been there since I've been in this district. Like, for real. So, you know what I said to her? So, what are you going to do? You still got to teach the kids. Well, I don't have time, but they keep asking. No. What are you going to do? She's like, but we don't have time. No. What are you going to do? You are a teacher. Your job is to teach, to educate. So what are you going to do? They're not going to give you. They know they're not going to come to your rescue. So what are you going to do to educate your students? So stop talking to those people who are telling you all the stuff you don't have. I talked about that stuff for 2 months. I'm done. Anyway, stay away from those people that are talking negatives. I talked about negatives for 3 months, and I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. So celebrate your students' achievements, because watch, your students are growing. I got a little girl today. I'm talking about this little girl all year. She was frustrated in me. I was frustrated in her. She didn't want to sit and work. This little girl came in today ready to work. I don't know what her grandma said to her. I don't know any of that. But this little girl came to school ready to work, starting in the morning. I'm like, give me some long A words, give me some long O words, long E, give me this stuff, and she was knocking stuff out. She was just giving it to us. She was like, oh, that, this, and that. Like, she was naming people. Like, she understood when you didn't know she understood before. She just wasn't involved. She wasn't participating. She participated in math. Today she had to participate some more. She had to add some money and find out it was so funny because just so happened I pulled out a book. It's about coins and tells you the different amounts of the coins. She didn't know the names of the coins, but she knew how much they were. And this is when we first got started. And I'm like, oh, money, little lady. She knew it. So celebrate that. Celebrate. Cheer yourself on. Ronette, you're going in this classroom. You're going to knock this out the box. You're going to teach this lesson. Whether they get it or they don't, you're going to figure out if they got it. If they didn't get it, you're going to work harder. You're going to come back tomorrow. Same lesson. Different perspective. Teach it till they understand it. Cheer yourself on. Teach as much as you can. Don't go in the classroom trying to look for time to rest. No. Teach that lesson. Knock it out. Teach that lesson. Knock it out. Get it done. You're going to feel so strong. Get some perspective. What is your perspective? What makes you think you can't believe in yourself? You don't think you can do it. What are you thinking? What is happening up here that you think you can't? All you have to do is be able to read. honestly, and let your personality flow out through it. This is me in the classroom. This is me in the classroom. I am my personality's here. I trip up. I'm laughing. The kids are like, "What?" Yes, I did it. I made that mistake. People are like, "You didn't change the date." Okay, all right. You changed the date. I forgot. Right? What math? What's the math homework? You didn't put it. Well, then you go to this math page. Look for this lesson. Find out the page number and write it up there. Come on, we gonna get this together. This is a group thing. So stop comparing yourself. Do you know this is research based curriculum? Follow it. Only thing I say is put you in it. Put your personality in it. Don't try to teach like somebody else. You have to build yourself up, cultivate your self belief. What are you focusing on rather than comparing yourself to people? Reflect on your past successes. You had to teach. You had to get a test, and the students learn something. You had to. You know, overcome the obstacles. Whatever the obstacles are, that sometimes you have to come in early to prepare. Use your prep time for prep. That was a joke for me. Like, oh man, I had to actually use my prep time for prep. I know I say that so much, but that's something that you have to understand. They give you the time. That way you don't have to take things home. Use that time. Run to the bathroom real fast. Get that over with. Then sit down and prep for the next day. Prepare. You can't feel defeated if you're prepared. You're defeated because you don't know what to do. When I didn't know what to do, that's when I was defeated. I felt like I can't do this. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe in this job. I didn't believe in this any of this stuff. I didn't. So, but just and then embrace who you are. Again, I can't say that enough. Embrace who you are. You're individual. You're not the lady next door. You're not the lady man across the hall. You're not. You have your own unique style. The way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you walk, uh, everything, the way you answer, the way you ask. That's you individually. Nobody can do it. Nobody can do what you do or say what you say, how you say it, because it's coming through here, this filter of your life experiences. So you have to embrace who you are. Celebrate your strengths, contribute your contributions to the profession, help when you can help, get help when you need help. You know, do that. And then, you get some people and you ask them some questions, ask them their story. I remember when I told you did I say I lost a kid? Did I actually tell you that? That I lost a kid, right? Lost a kid. He disappeared. I didn't know where he was. Then when I started asking, nobody knew where he was. And I felt so bad. I felt ashamed. Um, was it a weekend? It felt like it was, maybe he didn't come the next day, but it seemed like, I don't know. It seemed like it was a weekend. Because when I came in, it seemed like a whole weekend, and I came in and I was embarrassed to go to work. I was embarrassed to walk around. People gonna look at me like she lost a whole child. She didn't know where the boy was at. He was missing. And then I talked to people, and they gave me their stories, and I found out that's like all right. I want to say that the kid, right? You overcame it. I'm not talking about somebody stole the kid and the kid missing and left the building. I don't talk about that. I'm talking about you misplaced the child, or the child misplaced himself. The child left and you didn't understand what happened. And transitions, that happens in transition, like going from lunch to your classroom to lunch, going to dismissal, and somebody else picks them up and you don't know who picked them up. They decide to go with this person, this auntie, and the auntie didn't just talk to anybody, that kind of stuff. Because I seen that too. Little boy, his mom come pick him up. He's like, he left, and she was like, he could have left. I'm his mom, and he's like, yeah, he left. He left for such and such and such. This is his auntie. Auntie is not supposed to take him. The mom comes looking for her son. Nobody knows where he's at. That kind of stuff. I seen that. So yeah, this is like it's not a rite of passage. That sounds bad, but it has happened. It has happened. So you share that stuff, and you find out you're not the only one who's struggling in this area. You're not the only one who faced this student behavior, these issues, the administrative pressures, personal doubts. You're not the only person who doubted yourself. You're like, man, I cannot do this. You know, so just you have to be able to believe in yourself. This is one thing. This is what I said it. I know we had a whole lesson, a thing before, but this is one thing that took me over the top. Promise, because I always thought I was a great teacher. You can't tell me that I wasn't. I knew that I had to learn the programs and things like that. And then once I got that, I got that. Because my goal is to educate the students. My goal is to get these students reading and doing math so that they could excel. You know, I believe every child, every person needs to know how to read and do math. Period. Like you can learn anything else if you want. You have to know how to read, write, and do math. Just read, write, and arithmetic. Remember that? 3 R's that they used to say, and we find out they're not 3 R's, but that's when you say it like that. Um, Reading, writing, arithmetic. Yeah. So anyhow, one year, somebody told me first. My principal came to me and she was telling me, "This is real." So I'm just gonna say, one teacher was doing a great job, right? She was doing a great job. Then another a teacher came to me. A few teachers next grade level up, talking about the second grade teachers. They were failing. They weren't doing their job and all this stuff. Mind you, I just told you my students come in year after year reading preschool, kindergarten level. Preschool means they can't read anything. That means they barely know the sounds of their letters. They could never put them together to make a word. You know, they couldn't spell. They couldn't read. And then first grade kindergartners, you know, they what could they read? They can't read either. They might can read cat and they don't even know the like the. That's a sight word that you have to learn. So and it's a word that is going to come across always. You know, so that kind of stuff. And so, oh, that's what was happening. So I went and addressed it to the person who needs to be addressed and get her facts straight because, for one thing, you think I'm going to turn straw into gold. Stop it. Not to mention, you know it's not true. They never came in high and now they're low. That never happened because they never were high. The high students stay high. Can't even make us high student low because you can't. You teach them what you're teaching them. So anyhow, that pushed me over into overdrive. The next year I came in, which was last school year, man, you don't have to tell me anything. I had a goal. My students are going to go from here to there. Every week, I talked to my students. We had these level readers. They started at B and ended at N, right? Or M, I forgot, but it's second grade, right? Ended at the end of second grade. And I said, this is where we are. This is what we're going to try to get to. Sometimes we maybe not get to M, but we're going to get somewhere down the line. We're going to move in math. We're going to learn math. We're going to use every manipulative that we can. We're going to learn. I don't care if you cannot do 2-digit, 3-digit addition and subtraction with regrouping, with just the numbers, because you could do 7 plus 9 and all that stuff and carry it and all of that stuff. We're going to use manipulatives. We're going to use cubes. We're going to use place value discs. We're going to use drawings. We're going to use a place value chart. We're going to do all that. I promise you, everybody's going to be doing it. So we did it. We knocked that thing out. One student. The students who did it, because they had issues and they needed more time, meaning they needed a resource of some sort, resource teacher. You know how they pull the students and work on their basic skills. They needed some of that because they didn't have the basic skills, or they had some kind of developmental delay that there was nothing, and there was probably two at the end of that year. And so we did this. One little boy, I got ready for my student growth objective, got ready for that conference with my principal, and had all my paperwork. She's like, well, what happened to this little boy? What you mean? I don't know. Why? I don't know. What happened? He didn't. So soon as we checked off, and he about to mess up my stuff because he didn't grow. Right. Soon as we checked off the next few weeks after that, maybe is in May. I don't know what the time frame was, but in May, This little boy advanced 3, 4 levels in reading. He just was, oh my goodness. I'm like, what happened to you? You were messing up my ass. Yo, you should have been, what clicked? Something just clicked. And then he started reading. It was, the world was opened up to him because he was reading. And it just was something. My confidence now soared. I can tell you I got knocked back down the next year because I got that DLI thing, that dual language class, in, dual language instruction, which was a monster to me, that it tried to take me out. But uh, then once I got my mind right, I was able to do it. And then once I was able to do it, I got the opportunity to move because I had to master that. I had to get that under control, or I was gonna be stuck there in my head. You know, God saw fit to take me out, but I had to master it first, and then I was able to help the new teacher who came in. So that that was something that I have my confidence. Now I have these students again. Another thing, what I had to master is something different. I didn't think I could build relationships or get the students to come, be on board with this learning thing, and this atmosphere. And I can see it. We still have some work to do as far as classroom management and classroom behavior. That is a little bit of work we have to do, but I'm confident because I just put my foot down, like everybody sit down. You want to play? Because I give my students freedom. You need to work on this. Get up, and because my class is so small, you don't have to stay sitting next to somebody that's bothering you. Get up, or that's distracting you. Get up, go to one of those other seats. Sit at the table, one of the two tables. Move, right? Let them do that. You finish your work, get up and go to the next thing. Period. That's how it works. But if you think you're going to decide just because you see somebody else walking around, you're going to have to walk around and just socialize. That's not that. So we have to work on some of that stuff for my students. But that kicked me into overdrive. Now my confidence is way up there. Way up there. I believe in myself. I believe that I'm a teacher and I can do this. I started out feeling a different kind of way because I didn't have what I needed. So how could I believe that I could do what I can do? And then you question me once I know I'm knocking this thing out and my students are moving all the time. You test them here and then you test them in the middle of the year and then the end of the year, the the fall, the winter, and the spring, and then you see they have growth, and you gonna question me. Watch this. Everybody gonna see because I'm telling everybody. I told my students we have to win. You know why? Because I told everybody. I told everybody. I talked to the superintendent. Talked to all the supervisors in the superintendent's office. Those I talked to all those people, principals. Anybody will hear me. My students gonna grow this year. Watch. I promise you, they grew. I didn't even bat an eye. I worked so hard during that year. Last year, I was tired every single day that I went home. I gave those students everything I had. So the more you teach, the more you're gonna believe in yourself. The more you teach, the more confidence you're gonna have. You're not gonna have to worry about what somebody thinks of you because you know what you're doing in your classroom. So that is something we have to don't think about what other people are doing or saying. You just remember that teaching is not just a profession, it's a calling. It's an opportunity to inspire, educate, and empower that next generation. You can do it. You have this. You bring something special to the table that nobody else can bring because all this experience that's in your head, nobody else can see it. Only you can. It's a filter to what you see and what you know you can do. You have passion, creativity, dedication to your students. You got it. You want your students to succeed. Long as you have this, you can do it. And don't keep on looking back. Like looking back, oh, I did this last year, I did that other year, I was so great. No, be great now. Be great now. That's one thing. You could be confident, but you don't have to be cocky and act like you're still living off of what you did before because these are a new set of students. So you can do this. Just remember to embrace your individuality, trust your abilities. You have meaningful experience that shape the lives of your students. So remember that. Just do it. Don't worry about anybody else. You have this. You know, so keep believing in yourselves. Keep pushing through every obstacle and keep making a difference. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Tune in. Tune in. Like, share, and subscribe to Educators with Oil podcast, which is newly empowered educators. Powered educators. So like, share, and subscribe. Hit those buttons. Share. Do you hear me say share? Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Comment. And also, if you need a speaker, look. You need a speaker. Any of your events talking about education, motivating that teacher, teaching them how to be excellent. Here I am. Again, I run at Branham Empowered Educators, formerly Educators with Oil. Have a blessed day and thank you for tuning in.